What's going on, people? Welcome to the Live Palace Focus, where we discuss all the latest with Palace. In today's show, we're going to be talking about that Brentford game and what went wrong, what went right, and also talking about our away form so far this season. What is it that we've only got one win away from home? And finally, we'll be rounding it up with Chelsea discussion, looking ahead to the game against the champions of the world, not even Europe, Stan. Stan, before we get into it, let me quickly mention our sponsors. This video is sponsored by Manscaped. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. With our exclusive offer, you can get 20% off. Go to manscaped.com, type in BOTN for 20% off plus free shipping. Before we get into the show, Stan, you're growing out a beard. You're growing out a beard. What's going on? What's going on with that?
I've always had a beard, mate. It's just I need to trim it.
You're looking more now. You're looking more for it. Yeah, trying to copy me a bit. I think.
yeah. Beard first, right?
Exactly. It suits you. It suits you. But let's quickly say hello to Jay, Louis, Red, and yeah. Louis says it'll be interesting to see how PV will line up against Chelsea as we have no Gallagher. Trust me, we're going to be talking about that. But if you do enjoy the show and if you're watching on replay, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Helps us out massively. So Stan, let's start off with the Brentford game. 0-0 draw away at the Brentford Community Stadium. I was there. Very odd stadium in all honesty. Of course, you didn't go. It's in the middle of houses, middle of flats. But looking at the game itself, 0-0 draw away from home. What did you make of the result?
I think it was frustrating. It was a little bit tough to watch. I think we should have won both of those games away that we've been in. We should have with the team that we have. But I think people are there was a fair bit of overreaction, to be honest.
From you as well?
Maybe, but I didn't. I wasn't one of the keyboard warriors that went on Twitter and started outing players, outing managers, saying that we're in a relegation battle, that we're doing this, that we're doing that. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Look who's here.
How you doing, T?
Here as well. T, what's going on? You're looking fresh as well. As well. The only thing is we're growing out beards, T, so you have to join us. Look at Stan. Look at him. He's growing out little beards. I've got a beard, so
okay.
You have to join the team. You have to join the club.
Stan usually keeps it nice in
yeah, my age because of the grey hair I got in the beard, bro.
Yeah, okay. I'll get a little something going there. I got a little something.
Yeah. Just grow out. Let's all have it. At the same time. But T, look, we just started off the conversation with the Brentford game. Stan was talking about overreaction, and I feel like that's naturally going to happen if you have one win away from home. But even me, I was frustrated. We were on the live match reaction show talking about what went wrong in that game. But if you take a step back, do you think this is all part of the growing pains for Palace because of a new manager, new players? Is this the normality a bit, because we got a bit carried away at the start of the season with performances? Now are we seeing Palace come back down to earth and there's nothing to be worried about?
I think the thing that we have to understand is it's really frustrating in the moment. First of all, let's be candid with that. I think it's super frustrating in the moment. But when you think about the fact that is this growing pains, I say yes. But to that, I also say it's good that these are the growing pains we're going through compared to losing matches and being in a relegation scrap and hoping that we can survive and grow next year. You know what I mean? So I feel like it is growing pains, but luckily it's the type that I guess you could say is rare to have, because we're still in a really good position and we're not fighting for our place in the league as of right now.
Yeah, 100% agree. I feel like, as you said, big talking point. We're not talking about relegation. Well, some people are, but I'm not personally, because I don't think we're going to get relegated, in honesty, considering our home form. But let's talk about the lineup. So there was a bit of squad rotation. You had Jordan Ayew there starting ahead of Elise. You had Schlupp still midfield. Edouard was started in this game. How did we feel about the rotations at the time? Let's not talk about in hindsight, but at the time, did you understand what Vieira was going to do? Do you think it was, the right rotations to make in this game?
Yes.
I think it's understandable. I think it was understandable rotation.
I think if you look at like he brought Ayew in, okay, because they've got two pacey wingers. Who is it? It's Yanel and Canos play on the wing for them, right? And they would run Joel Ward ragged if he just left Olise out there to go and do his thing. I can understand why Ayew was there. Did he have the greatest game? No. Did he have a terrible game? No. But I can understand why he was there. Obviously, Kouyaté wasn't back. That overly frustrated me because I wish we'd have had him that day, man. I think Schlupp is just not a midfielder. Play him left back, play him left wing, play him right wing. He's left-footed, but just play it. But he's not a midfielder, and you could see that like he's not confident in that position. And he's had a serious run of games in that position. The only time I've seen him absolutely think he's had a great game is against a very poor Norwich side when we played him at home just after Christmas. So I think that I think that's something that's very, very questionable. Eddie didn't have a great game, but we didn't feed him, so we can't really blame him too much either.
That's a very good point that you make about Edouard. In fact, let's just jump into it straight away. I was going to talk about it later on in the show, but as you mentioned it's a very good point. People are talking about Edouard up front, and they're saying that Edouard shouldn't play up front. He's better suited out wide. And when you look at our performances so far this season, you can't really deny that because his best performances have come out wide when he's been cutting in from the left-hand side or linking up with the striker, whoever's up there. He's done a great job there. But me personally, he is still our best striker, but you're not going to see Edouard be as effective when he has to go outside of the box to pick up the ball. And it goes back to my main point of what I think went wrong in this game. And it was the persistence in trying to play the ball to feet. We never really tried to play him behind. And it was so easy for Brentford. And we weren't feeding Edouard. We weren't creating that many chances. But for you guys, what do you think went wrong? Was it tactics? Was it the players? What was the main problem? Because the performance in this game, we talked about the Norwich game. The first half was poor, second half much better. But in this game, in all honesty, for me, the 90 minutes was poor.
I think the biggest issue, and it's interesting that you bring it to light, is if we're going to play the feet to our central midfielder, our central striker, we need to be able to play through the middle and have good link up. But we don't have that. We don't play through the middle to actually link up to score goals, unfortunately. Usually when we have a lot of opportunities is down the wings. So to have him playing the feet all the time with no true link up and play through the midfield was almost counterintuitive. So I didn't see that.
Yeah, but the thing is, can we even play it through the middle? Do we have the players to play through the middle? Because I don't think we have a number 10 that's playing there when Schlupp is there.
We don't have the midfield to play through the middle. Therefore, having your center forward constantly coming and playing the feet, it doesn't make a difference because there's nobody that's really coming into the play that he's really bringing in.
Guys, I think there's a bigger problem there as well, though, is that like, what are we doing when we get on the wings? Like against that team, with whether it's Eddie or Mateta or whoever, just put balls in the box. Honestly, and we haven't got any. Like, did anyone deliver a decent cross in the box at all that game?
No.
Like they didn't. Just put balls.
No.
The one thing I will say, Vieira doesn't know his best team. He doesn't know his best team because he's constantly chopping and changing that front three. No, stick with a front three and believe in it. Honestly. And JD, when he come on, he is more and more starting to look the real deal. He was aggressive. He was fighting. He was pushing. Like, he was actually trying to do something. Do you know what I mean?
Whereas he was trying to get in behind, too.
He was trying to get in behind. Yeah. Maka coming on, that helped a little bit as well. But I just feel like you've got to stop chopping and changing that front three. Like, stick by it. By hook or by crook. Give them 3 or 4 games. You know, our back 4 or back 3, minus Ward, especially the 2 centre-backs, they're good together because they've played together so many times now. They read each other. They understand each other, you know?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to that front three discussion a bit later on. Let's just go through the first half. So first half, there was that penalty situation for Brentford. Potentially, Mark Gahey. Was it the right call by the referee? We talked about referees getting against us, but do you think that was the right call? When you look at just the picture, then you'll say, all right, that is a penalty. But for me, Mark Gahey, he got pushed. He got pushed, and that's the reason why it looked like a handball. But for you guys, what did you make of it?
I think the push changes everything when you're trying to review that play. Had he not been pushed, had it been just what it was as far as the ball hitting, yeah, it probably would have been a handball. But with that push, I think it changes everything, and that's why we saw it not be a penalty.
He was very lucky. He was very lucky. It was the right call, but he was really lucky because if you're playing Liverpool or Man United or Chelsea, that's a penalty.
Just like Wolves play,
it shouldn't be though. It shouldn't
be a penalty for them if it was any of those teams.
He's very, very lucky. It wasn't. You know what? It's not as if the guy's just gone in and pushed him, like properly pushed him. He's got a nudge in the back. And he's gone. Why is he leaning with his hand in the first place? He's very lucky, mate. Very lucky.
Well, you can say he's very lucky, but then we're going to talk about another penalty situation later on when we talk about the second half. So before we do that, let's read through some comments. Nick says Ayew had an awful miss that Elise would have slotted home. 100% disagree with that. That was not an awful miss in terms of it was just light open.
It was a miss, but it wasn't like a.
It was an awful miss. What he done wrong there for me was that he took an extra touch. He closed the angle for himself. If he took his shot earlier on, then he had a better chance. But I don't think it was a clear one-on-one situation down through the middle. No, that's from my angle, anyways. I don't think it was as clear as that. But you know, that's my opinion from that. Red says we've never been able to play through the middle. I would disagree. I think we have played it through the middle at times when, you know, Conor Gallagher, Maka have been playing together as well. But I feel like we've got the capabilities to play through the middle. But it's just we don't have the right personnel on Saturday or during the week against Norwich. And that's why we struggled. Nick says Edward needs someone to play the ball through in behind if it's a striker, almost needs a centre forward on number 10 just behind to do this. 100% agree. Red says number 10. Eze Elise can play the 10 role. So everyone's saying we need the number 10s. And hopefully, maybe the reason why we haven't seen it so far is because of the AFCONs and players being out and certain players having to play in certain positions to cover those who were gone. Maybe from this point onwards, we've got everyone's back. Cheku Kiyata, he came back today. I love what I saw there today from the club as well. That was a great gesture. You can see the harmony around the squad is very good. Awesome. Despite the
did you check out what he said though?
Said, I know what you're talking about here.
Next year. I tweeted it. It's like, okay, so he said we're going to win the league next year. That means he's coming.
All right. What does we mean? Exactly. So we'll see if Kiyate stays. But there were rumors about him potentially. The club opening contract talks with Kiyate. I think throughout this week. Hopefully he stays at the club. If he does stay, that'd be great. But if him and Maka stays, then I'm not too sure how that'll work because both old players as well. So we talked about the penalty decision. We talked about, first half versus second half. Then nothing happened. But in the second half, I think the main positive, let's move on to the positives now. The main positive for me was that man that I just mentioned a couple seconds ago, James McArthur. As soon as he came on the pitch, even though it was due to Will Hughes' injury, which hopefully it isn't too serious, and I don't think it is because he's been training with the team. If, as soon as he come on, what did he do? Ball over the top.
Yeah.
How much have we missed this man? And another point that I want to make is, are we reaching a scary site where we're relying on a 34-year-old? How much longer can you do this? Is that another problem that can potentially arise sooner rather than later? Because everyone's been talking about Maka, and I understand the role. He plays a great role, but surely you shouldn't rely this much on a 34-year-old because in a year or two, or even 6 months, you don't know when players hit that peak. It's going to be hard for them to do this week in, week out.
Yeah, I think you got to secure understudies soon.
Yeah, I think we're more. I don't think we're relying on Maka. I think we're more missing Kouyaté. Like Schlupp is playing there instead of Kouyaté. And we've really missed him, And I think, he's shown like what a big player he is for us. Like he's been under the radar, especially under Roy Hodgson. People are like, oh my God, Kouyaté, this, that, the other. But like he's got an engine on him. He gets about. He does a lot of the dirty work. Plays it sideways here, there, and everywhere. I think it's Kouyaté who we've missed more. And if you have Hughes, Gallagher, Kouyaté, I think that you'll see improvements.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that we have understudies for these guys that we are talking about that are older. They're going to be eventually, having to phase out of the team. And if it's a construction of, hey, we just need an understudy for Cheku to where he can bring him along. We keep him for next year, and he can bring that younger guy along to be able to take over that deep line central midfielder position. And we still have Hughes, and then what I would think would be Eze next year with Connor leaving. Then we have an understanding of how we're going to replace guys. If not, then we need to get an understudy for Maka too. That we
Do you
can.
think? Sorry,
Hughes is
T.
seen
Do
as
you
the
think?
natural successor.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if Hughes is that guy, great, we got him. He's in fold already. But if they see it differently, then yeah.
One thing that I noticed during the game as well was that Conor Gallagher, he was doing too much. And people have been talking about him not being the same Gallagher that we've seen at the start of the season for the past month or so. Do you think he's been missing Maka midfield? Because you look at it, he's just all over the pitch and he's doing more than he should be able to do. And I purely think it is that reason. If you put Maka or Kiyate there, the midfield just clicks. But with Schlupp there, you just have Gallagher just running all over the pitch because we're basically playing a man down in midfield.
He's been missing Kuyate. I don't think he's been missing Maka because he's played excellent games without Maka there. Do you know what I mean? He's been missing Kuyate.
I think the reason why he has been missing Maka and why he's missing Kuyate too is because he's lacking direction at this point out there. He's lacking live direction, and I'm not exactly sure how much he's given that from Kuyate, but I know he's giving it from Maka because he's talked about it in the past. And it's kind of like that idea what D's talking about. He's just running around out there because he doesn't have someone instructing him, giving him live feedback. Hey, you need to be here. Hey, this is what we need to cover. Now you need to go forward. Without that live mentoring, that live tutoring, he's just all over the place. And his work rate is just crazy, but he's just scatterbrained almost. You know what I mean? So I think he, of course, I think he misses both of them. Let's be completely honest. But I think there's definite reasons for why both of them are missed by him in that situation.
So Michael says we didn't spark during the second half, which is what everyone waited for after that first half, just like Norwich. Plus, we don't have the confirmed front three, which is also unsettles the team on who's starting. I think going forward, we are going to have a confirmed front three. But it's interesting because we talked about Edward and people are saying Edward should play out wide, but Wilf is there. So where does Will fit in? Is he going to play out front because Edward's going to play out wide? And if Edward's not getting the ball, then what makes you think that Wilf is going to get the ball through the middle? Do you understand? Like, I think it's not as simple as putting Edward out wide.
I feel like the misconception with Edward is people say, oh, he's better on the wing. It's like, no, it's not that he's better on the wing. It's just that at the wing, he can have the ball at his feet facing the goal. And he's a great
service
player.
on the wing.
And he's a great player, and he can be a great player when he has the ball at his feet facing the goal. Right
but you've
now,
got to feed him as well, T. Like if he hasn't got it at his feet and he's facing the goal, feed him. You know, like you've seen it before. Ball over the top from Elise, he'll poke, like toe poke, stick his foot out, it goes in. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So we just
give him the ball. Yeah, exactly.
We just really didn't show. Like we could have put them to bed if we'd have played the right game, and we didn't. They
could have put us to bed as well, though. They created more chances. I felt like they created better chances than we did throughout the game. So they weren't great, but they created better chances. They look more dangerous going forward, in my opinion. I don't think we've done anything going forward. We only had 3 shots on target. One of them was outside the box. And the other 2 I can barely even remember, which shows exactly what went wrong in that game. So another sub that came on, Mateta. We talked about him when he first signed for this club. Well, I said it that I wasn't too sure whether we bought into the hype too early, but him coming on, he done exactly just what I wanted Jason McArthur to do in terms of running our opponents forward thinking, running with the ball forward. And at least they came on for IU with 12 minutes to go. Some people have been talking about Vieira subs, saying that at times they're too late. What do you guys make of that statement?
I agree. Fully agree.
So in this game, what was late?
JP and Maka were late.
JP and Maka were late. Those should have been 60th minute subs. Those should have been 60th minute subs. Not 75th or 80th.
I would have got JP or Maka on at half time. Like, what's happened to making a change at half time? Like, the game's there for the taking. Like, going in that late, ridiculous.
Because
do you think it's the amount of games though that we're playing that he doesn't want to use his players unless he has to because of the type of football that we're playing, high pressing, and high tempo?
The reason why I say no to that is because we actually have squad depth this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We actually have the ability to rotate players and rotate quality players. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't.
I don't know in midfield though. Do we have it in midfield?
I think we do because you could easily put Eze into that game in the midfield. You had Maka to come into that game in the midfield. Those are the only two out of the 3 subs that you needed in the midfield right there, and you've been perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I think the issue really is that like we said, he's waiting too long, and the longer you wait, the more you're hoping for a super sub scenario.
I think that's going to change though.
But yeah,
with these players being back,
I hope so. I hope so because
15
minutes isn't enough time.
At least say for 8 minutes, like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Like, just you might as well have kept it as it was.
And you're hoping he'll just save you within those little minutes.
And he didn't get into the game at all. You know, like he
didn't have enough time to get into the game.
No, he didn't.
Exactly.
He didn't have enough time.
Give those guys 30 minutes. Give those guys 35 minutes to really get a chance. Because if you see a lot of teams, they'll start to look at their subs between about the 50th and 60th minute. You know, especially if it's a necessity of a need necessity of a sub that we need to make.
Yeah. Callum's meme assistant says, anyone know why Elisa was dropped? Vieira said about a rotation due to the amount of games that we're playing. So just simple rotation like that. I don't have any problem with Jordan I starting in all honesty because he was our best player. I had problems in other areas of the pitch. Jeffrey Schlupp starting was a bigger problem for me in midfield rather than Jordan Ayew starting for Elise. I think you can rotate at times. We've seen the quality of Ayew on his day. He's very dangerous. So that was my problem going into this game. So I think it was just a bit of squad rotation. Aaron says, I was saying this the other. Kouyaté is so underrated. And he's going to be high in confidence as well after that tournament win. He is buzzing right now. He's living his life. He's going to be excited coming back to Palace. Back to business for him. Callum says, need half an hour to spark. Elise deserve to come on. Same with Maka. Sparking other games is too good not to. So now we're going to bring on Nick. Nick.
How you doing, Nick?
Welcome back to the show. How's it going? Are you still hungover?
Yeah, I am a bit. I don't know how I got through last night's BBC London programmes, to be perfectly honest. Well, that took about chicken and stuff.
Yeah. I compared to yesterday, I was on BBC London, and I compared our situation with a roast chicken on a Sunday. You're not going to let that roast chicken cook for 1 minute and take it out of the oven. We just put the roast chicken in the oven with a new transition process. We got new Vieira in.
Analogy.
Yeah, no, exactly. So let it cook. Let it cook. It's gonna take a bit of time. Exactly. You have to let it cook. You're not gonna eat raw chicken. Right now it's raw. Just let it cook. I would say we'll see the best.
A better comparison is that like we're trying to become a Mercedes, but we're a bit of an old Mitsubishi. We're transforming from being like an old Mitsubishi. You know?
Yeah, we're developing. Exactly. You can do all the analogies you want.
No, you're wrong there because we've got the parts for the Mercedes already. It's just fitting them together.
I know.
We've got rid of the Mitsubishi parts.
Yeah, but there's still a few lurking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably the driver.
So look, we're not. I know the title of the show is "Why Can't We Win Away," but we could also say, "Isn't it brilliant that we're not losing away?" You know,
glass half full. Glass half full.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're still getting points on the road. I still say we're safe. I still say there's a lot worse teams than us. As long as we don't go on a losing streak, it's about time we won. It's been December the 5th was the last time we won when we beat Norwich at home 3-0 in the league.
It wasn't
but
December 5th.
It's going to come soon. And you know, these games against big teams, these are the games that surprise you, man. These are the ones where you get the shock result. It might be that playing without Conor Gallagher is the thing that we've needed all along. You never know.
Whoa. Some interesting statements there. But we're going to talk about that away from Nick. But before we do, just quickly, last thing about Brentford, Zaha penalty situation should have been given. The defender wasn't clearly playing for the ball. Everyone agree? Should we just move on?
Wait a minute. Do I have to remind everyone that Jota got a penalty against us for something
For literally
much less.
kicking the ball.
Listen,
Yeah, exactly.
much
Kicking the ball
less.
out and running at the goalkeeper.
Much less a guy
Dare I
with
say
both arms
it's-
around him, pulling you down to the ground.
Dare I say it's Zaha's reputation.
Oh, absolutely.
Just doing it. Do you remember years
Nah,
ago?
yeah. Even
when they
even
said
throughout the game.
AJ was winning too many penalties,
Yeah.
and they were all legitimate. It was just he was so quick that the only way defenders could stop AJ was to foul him, and he stopped getting penalties in the end, even though there were still penalties against him. This VAR thing is a fucking farce.
Like
Yeah.
It really is.
and it's
All
weird
you got
because
is
it's weird because they say that VAR is reviewing like all of them. Like they had a short review to see if it was a penalty, and they still didn't give it. And it's like if you watch
the referee
that,
had a howler, man.
right? If you watch that replay, there's no reason why that should not be a penalty. Like okay, this is what blew my mind watching the game, and it was I watched and here in America it was on Peacock, which is NBC. The announcer says outside the box, that's going to be a foul every time.
Exactly.
foul outside the box.
The referee didn't have a great game. The referee didn't have a great game. I feel like he had an agenda towards Will from the start. Like there were certain moments.
Was there contact in the box that forced Wilf to go down?
Absolutely.
He literally grabbed him. He grabbed him. So why doesn't VAR see this? Why doesn't VAR see this if the referee's that incompetent?
VAR didn't even check it. They didn't even check it.
Yeah,
All VAR is doing is adding an extra person to make a mistake.
Listen,
exactly.
VAR is
down the
That's
line,
a
one more
conspiracy
person.
theory.
VAR is there for the top 6 teams or for the darlings of the FA. If you're top 6, West Ham or Brighton, you get VAR. The rest of you
or Brighton.
Yeah.
Or Brighton. West Ham. Wait. Did you say West Ham or Brighton top 6?
No, if you're the big 6 or you're West Ham or you're Brighton, you get VAR.
All right. Cool.
Otherwise, you might as well not even have it on the ground.
Brighton and VAR Albion.
Yeah, but
they had a goal disallowed when we were there. When he kicked it out,
They did. Fair point. Let's read some more. Read some more comments. So Aaron says, for me personally, at least it's becoming slightly predictable with the way he cuts in his left foot all the time. I thought Zaha was predictable against Brentford. Honestly, he tried to do the Norwich goal over and over again.
Here's my thing. This kid is predictable, and they still haven't stopped him yet. Nobody shut him down yet.
That's when you know you're a very good player. Trust me. When
what is the if I'm telling you I'm going left and you can't stop me from going left, why wouldn't I go left?
Okay.
Yeah. Look at Reading this year.
Let me finish this comment as well.
Trouble they are in without Elise.
Oh mate, they're going down. They haven't won for. I don't think they've won for about 6 months, have they?
He also says, even though he's got heaps of potential, Jordan Ayew is a ball winner and stronger. Jordan Ayew being a ball winner is a very good point, but I've said this so many times. If Jordan Ayew is playing for this football club just because he's a ball winner and has to support Joe Ward, that shows the bigger problem that we've got. That shouldn't be the case. Exactly. You bring in another right back. Jordan Ayew shouldn't be.
And now we've stuck all our money this season on Ferguson getting back fit. He ain't coming back. Okay.
Klein is there.
Huh?
Klein is there.
Vieira don't rate him for some reason. Otherwise, he'd be playing.
Boy, he must have a howling training because how is he not play? Like,
yeah.
How much worse can he be than Joe Ward? With all due respect, how much?
What is Ward adding as captain? Is that why he's there? Because he's captain.
Nah, man, that's just too easy. It's nothing to do with that. I just think
what is he adding as captain? You think?
Yeah, well, of course, he's adding something as captain. He's a leader. He's a leader. Okay. He can add as captain, but I don't think that's the reason why he's starting.
The one thing I will say with the Joel Wards and the Maccas of this world, listen, Ward frustrates me as he does anyone. But what he has in abundance is he has Premier League experience, okay? And if you need someone for the last 10 minutes to drag you through a game, one of those people is Ward. Like, he knows he's been there. He's done it. Huh?
I don't know if it is because in the last 10 minutes of a game, teams are targeting him. It's not him that's dragging us through. Teams are targeting him.
He will, trust me, he's got experience. You've got to give him
He's got experience. Luca's got experience. So Luca should start as well. Luca's arguably a better captain than...
I'm not saying
he's a better captain than Joe Ward.
I'm not saying he should start, but I'm just saying that, like, those are the type of players that can drag you through a game.
Yeah, Fair enough. It's a good. I just disagree, but it's a fair observation point.
Well,
He's got experience. He's got experience. He might, he
But
might
to
contribute like
what
that.
Aaron was saying about having Jordan Ayew as a ball winner and he's stronger. Here's the thing. Every time that you make the conscious decision to start Jordan Ayew over Michael Elise, you are significantly affecting our goals and assists for in the game. Like you're literally almost taking a goal away from us every single game when you decide to play Ayew and not Elise.
I don't think so. Come on, let's not do that. Because he was our best player before he went to the AFCONs. He was. We can't.
Though.
I'm talking about right now. I don't care about before the AFCONs. I'm talking about right now because ever since.
But we didn't know that though because we haven't seen it.
We know it now.
We just come back though.
We know it now because every time Elise is in the game, he gets us an assist or he gets us a goal, right or wrong.
Yeah, he's been one of our better players with Edward as well.
So you bring in Jordan Ayew, and Jordan Ayew plays. Do we score?
However,
do we score?
No, but you need a bit of rotation though.
Energy.
You need a bit of at least he's been playing for the last month.
Whenever Elise starts, we concede.
I don't know.
That's not direct. He's directly involved in goal scoring. He's not directly involved in the goals that we're getting.
You can't blame Elise for conceding goals.
No.
Him a right winger for our goals.
Where was Elise defending in the
Norwich goal was
what is he going to do? Is he going to be in the box? He's not going to be in the box, is he?
The Norwich goal was given by Joel Ward.
Ayew is tracking back.
No, Jordan
doesn't track back.
Joel Ward gave up the goal.
He does.
Don't put
That's
that
my
on
Nick. He does.
Don't
Trust
put that
me,
on
he
him.
does.
That was Joel Ward. Don't put
he tracks back. Elise has improved defensively. He tracks back. I know people like to say I should start defensively. I know Elise can't do that. But if you actually watch Elise, he does track back. He has been tracking back when Jordan Ayew was at the AFCONs.
Absolutely.
He's improved his performance there. So it's an easy thing to say. Personally,
we had clean sheets with him playing there too. Have we not had clean sheets when we're playing?
Yeah. He does track back. Exactly. We've had clean sheets.
I just think that Vieira needs to decide on a settled team, if possible, for the next few games and stick with that team because chopping it and changing it is not going to help. So Chelsea is a free hit, no doubt. But after that, play a settled team to the end of the season because that is what's going to be the difference between us finishing 15th.
Do you play? No, Stan, I disagree. I agree and I disagree. Look, with next 3 games, we've got Chelsea, then we've got Watford.
Yeah.
Then we've got Wolves. Do you play the same team? They're playing 3 completely different ways.
No.
So you've got to set up differently.
I'm saying Chelsea, Nick, play Ayew 100% because you're going to need him. Because Azpilicueta's bombing forward or Reece James is bombing forward is a madness, right? They're unbelievable. But when it comes, so then we got, I think after that is Watford, Burnley, Wolves. Okay? We need 6 points.
We need to let Chelsea's midfield look so good that they're going to want to have Gallagher back.
Mate, look,
let me go through the comments. Because we went over with the Brentford chat and this debate. It's a good debate to have, but we need to catch up. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night and not going to be able to go through the show. So Callum says, "Are we sure Eze's getting enough time? No need to rush him in, but we wouldn't want him to lose confidence. Even I think Ayew's brilliant too." But we can't forget the lack of goals recently. Callum also adds he's getting better, but might he be slightly predictable too? Redder says T is right. They said that. Louis says we just simply need a right back. Aaron Wan-Bissaka back? Nope, I don't think so. It's just time to move on. There's no need to get Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We've done good business with that.
At the moment.
He is, but there's better there as well. Callum says I love that's happened, but it wouldn't. Red says Ward often saves us off the line. That's another area. He has saved us off the line quite a bit, but he's slowing down and making errors. I think that pretty much sums it up. He has some good moments, but the bad moments, which is not his fault, because I don't think he should be starting week in, week out in the Premier League. I think it's a bit harsh on him. Seek says, I'm sorry, but Ayew needs to go. And yep. So let's now move on to the title of the show. Why can't we win games away from home? So I'm just going to open it up. Is there an issue? Have you guys noticed an issue away from home? Is it just luck? Is it tactic? What is it that we can't win a game in the league away from home? The only win that we've had so far One win in 12 is against Manchester City, and that is a 2-0 win at the Etihad. Now, I understand Palace can be a funny team at times, but even at Palace levels,
Hilarious.
it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. What is it? Talk to me.
Lots of passing, good possession stats, but there's no cutting edge. There's no
killer
balls
instinct.
behind. There's no balls through.
Yeah,
There's no let's take a pot shot from outside the area.
right.
There's no mixing it up. When have we seen Anderson with his long field passes as often? Have we invited the pressure on so we can get behind teams so much away from home as they're doing at home? Is it psychology now that it's been so long since we've been able to do it? Is having two different types of strikers where you've got your Mateta and your Benteke who want the ball in. Although that said, Mateta against Norwich just before we got the pen, or just before we got the goal. No, it's just before we got the pen. It was like a ballet dancer.
Yeah,
He was the same on Saturday.
Falling down
Yeah,
all around him. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. We need to see more of that from Mateta, but we need more impetus and we need to get into the opposition's box more, take more chances, and instead of going sideways and backwards, let's go forward and have more impact.
Yeah, I think sometimes
Whereas
there's
it
too
will
much
take
focus.
us 5 minutes to have a shot on goal, other teams, they're straight up the pitch trying to get in there.
We don't test goalies enough, you know, we don't.
absolutely.
But remember, the last 2 years, we couldn't win at home. Do you remember, like, going to Sellers was it was a nightmare. We couldn't win at home. It was horrible.
That too.
You know, and we could, away, we were brilliant. Because, I don't know why, but I think we'll win at least 2 more away games this season, at least.
We better. I mean, if you end the season with 1 win away from home, then that is shocking.
I think part of it, man, is we just focus too much on possession of the ball and not creating chances. We focus too much on possessing the ball and having control of it, but not on creating chances. You know what I mean? It's not enough for us to have 80% of the possession because that doesn't necessarily equal us getting more chances to score goals. You know what I mean?
How bad Patrick is to be believed is because I've gone to every game and it's my fault. You do wonder that, didn't you? Maybe I've been wearing my lucky pants.
Hey man, just stay away for one game. We'll see what happens. If we don't score 3 on the road.
Just letting you lot know that Brighton are all over Man United. It's a madness.
And also talking about the team that we beat away from home, they're already 4-0 up and in the first half in the Champions League round of 16. That's the only team we beat away from home. Make sense, Crystal Palace. But Nick, we're gonna make a rotations now. Henry's waiting. Any last things that you want to say before you go?
Yeah, I've got the Wolves ticket, so we'll see you for that one. If you didn't get a chance, go on the BBC Sounds app if you're in the UK. Listen to the show last night. Clinton was very, very good on it last night.
Oh, you met him, yeah?
Yeah, we spoke with Clinton
No,
Morrison.
it's online.
I've met him once or twice outside Sellers. He's such a funny bloke.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, we interviewed him for an eToro promotion when they first did that. I went to Shoreditch for that. But just everybody have a good week. And when you get over 50, don't drink Jaeger bombs at 11 because you're still suffering on the Tuesday.
Dude, I don't drink Jaeger bombs now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you are a monster, man.
All right, Nick, speak to you soon. Thanks for coming on.
Take it easy.
Cool. Can you send me the link for the Clinton interview? I want to see that, man.
We'll post it.
I'm step off real quick to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
All right, cool. No worries. We've got a toilet break coming on. Half-time for tea. Whilst he's gone, we got Henry here. Henry, welcome back to the show. So we're talking about our away games so far this season. Any wins from them. So I'll continue on the chat by saying this is my list in games that we should have been better in or should have beaten at least.
Okay,
there's quite a bit. Yeah, I've made a list. So got Arsenal, we should have beaten them. Last minute goal. You could say that's unlucky, or maybe it was a subs bringing on Tompkins, going a bit defensive. Brighton, we should be much better. They absolutely dominated us. They could have easily beat us in that game. Burnley should have beat them, scored 3 goals, conceded a very good goal. I get that, but conceding 3 goals, despite it being away from home, it's just not good enough. Maybe you could say it's early season struggles. Leeds, they've been struggling this season. If Benteke's put in that chance, we should have potentially beat them as well. Tottenham should have been much better in terms of performance. We've seen Tottenham this season. They're not that great, and we absolutely let them dominate us for 90 minutes.
But we always do that out there. We always do that.
And then Norwich should have beat them as well, in my personal opinion. And Manchester United, that performance was just not good enough for me. So out of the 12 games, I've got around 7 performances that we should have either beaten teams or we should have played better against them. Henry, what is going wrong? What do you think it is?
I think we just don't start games well enough, and we kind of we're a bit too casual away from home. I think we don't seem to have that same sort of desire. At least that's the way it comes across for sure. It's hard to kind of put your finger on it, but I think it might be kind of a mentality thing as well, because it obviously all these players are new playing with each other, because most of them were just, when you look at our team, a lot of them were just summer signings. But I don't know. I just think we're just a bit. Maybe it's just that we haven't won for a while away from home, and it sort of gets to their heads.
That's what Nick said as well. That is what Nick said as well. Let me read through some comments. Zarek says, I think we need to try out Ferguson. Yeah, we do need to try him out, but for us to try him out, he needs to be fit. We can't physically do that. I mean, you're asking an awful lot from an injured player. Callum says the atmosphere is so good at home, it's a shock when away. That might be a thing, but still, I mean, I've been to every away game. We haven't been that bad away from home in terms of atmosphere. Red says typical Palace. Callum says no finishing product. Dean says get Scott Banks and Raksaki on the pitch. Get Raksaki on the pitch. For me, Raksaki needs to play. Needs to play,
you know what?
man. I've been saying it for so long.
I agree with you. I think he does need to play. And I think if anyone was to sort of lead a campaign to protest Raksaki getting on the pitch, it would be you, mate.
It's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen next season. He's going to be playing. Now, this season's a write-off at this stage. He's not going to be playing, is he? Callum says, maybe we've got such a great squad depth that Vieira doesn't know what to do with everyone. Maybe that's it.
That's probably an element of truth to that, because, I mean, it's his first season. He tends to kind of have a bit too much loyalty to some players, I think.
Tom says we have a crazy culture throughout the club, and the fans are too easily pleased.
Too easily pleased? Does he not watch this show?
Seek says I'm still positive against Chelsea. I knew that we can beat them. Callum says could agree. Actually, we finally play better football, but don't get results. Seems good enough when it's not. And that's it for.
What does that mean?
That's it for the comments for now.
When it's not.
But you don't get seems good enough when it's not. So he feels like it's not good enough. We think it's good enough, but it's not. I think our away form is not good enough this season. But I think it's part of the growing pains. Personally, as I listed out my list, there's been some good performances. There's been some average performances maybe that we should have performed better. But I think it's part of the growing pains. Just let it take. We have to take our time. Just let it grow. Let it happen naturally.
Teething problems.
Exactly. That's it. Now let's move on to the last segment of the show, which is the Chelsea game. Chelsea preview. We are facing the champions of the world, if you want to say that. Last time we faced them, we got absolutely ruined. Mateta and Will started out front in that game. So
it was only the first game of the season, though.
The greatest team in the world, can an upset happen?
It can.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
How are we feeling, though?
There's always a potential.
How are we feeling?
Their league form, listen, they're an excellent team. And if you don't play against them correctly, if you fall asleep for a second, they'll punish you. But their league form hasn't been the best.
Yeah, especially recently, yeah.
You know, and we need to try and take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think the league form can catch up, after winning the Club World Cup? Do you think they might be a bit more motivated? Last stretch, you got that trophy, now let's push on. Do you think a case like that can happen?
I don't know.
Might see motivate Chelsea.
Not really sure how much players care about that Club World Cup thing.
Ah, they do, man. It's still a trophy. It's still
I mean,
trophy.
I'm not even
Maybe
sure
fact,
why it exists, to be honest.
yeah, I don't know as well, but you can't take it away from them. They've won
No.
the most. I think they won the most trophies in the last 20 years, or 20 years since Abramovich has basically taken over. So they're doing well for themselves. So yeah, Anton says Chelsea have been inconsistent and traveling. They are there for the taking. Red says we can beat them.
There for the
Aaron saying we will probably win 3-0. So we're gonna get score predictions. We're gonna get the score predictions, but before we do,
wait, just take a second to think about
3-0.
that. Think about if after this weekend our
my
2
God.
away wins are against Man City and Chelsea.
We're at home, T.
Madness.
we're at home.
Oh, we're home.
We're
My
fixing
bad,
the first
my
game of the
bad.
season.
Tripping.
We got
My
absolutely
tripping,
back. Yeah. We
About to say, but at least our first win since December 5th is against Chelsea.
No,
Exactly.
This is not December 5th. It's like
It's
December
not December
29th.
5th as well. What, December 29th? You're having a howl as well. It's not December 29th or December 5th. It's like December 19th.
Well, that was
It's not.
Oh my days.
I went off what
Oh
Nick
my
said. Nick said
days.
December 5th, I think he said.
It's
Against
after
Norwich.
Christmas.
Was it
Oh,
after
jeez.
Christmas? Well,
I
I
thought
know
you were talking about
we
the day
got
of the
cup
Chelsea.
wins. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it'll be typical Palace. But for that to happen, you need to have players out on the pitch, of course. And there's one player that can't be there, and that's Conor Gallagher. So in terms of starting lineup, who is the midfield three for you guys going into this game? Who do you think Vieira will start versus who do you think will play? Because for me, that is the key to this game. The midfield three has to be right. If it doesn't, we're going to get absolutely battered.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I want to start? Who will he start?
Who do you want to start? Let's start off with that. Who do you guys want to start in the midfield three? Without Gallagher there. Yep.
Maka, Hughes.
Kouyaté, Maka, Hughes. That's solid. Anyone disagree with that? Anyone got different midfield threes?
I'm going with Kouyaté, Maka, Eze.
Kouyaté, Maka, Eze. I'll take that. Henry, you got something different? Or Henry said, I'm taking none of that. I'm leaving.
Henry froze up. Okay,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Let's get him back.
Hughes.
Is he back?
No, I think he's still frozen.
Yeah,
So
he's frozen.
Henry here. For me, I'm gonna go with who do I want? I want Eze to start. I want Maka to start, and I want Kouyaté to start. That's who I want to start. But realistically, I still somehow think Jeffrey Schlupp is going to find a way there.
That's what I'm saying. He is
And
going to
that
play
just-
Schlupp, Hughes, Kouyaté.
Hey, if he does, man, Jeffrey Schlupp not only has something on Patrick Vieira, he has something on Roy Hodgson too. That's all I'm saying. He's a blackmail artist.
He's a good footballer, but not in midfield. Not in midfield. That's all I want. That's the only thing that I don't want for him to start in midfield.
He's not the James. He's like Patrick Vieira's James McCarthy, isn't he?
Yes. Well, maybe he isn't. Maybe we're being too harsh because when you're considering Kouyaté was gone, Maka was out injured. Vieira didn't have many options to start in midfield. You can say Eze maybe, but he's coming back from injury. Luka, we know how he's been. So maybe from this game onwards, things change. Maybe Jeffrey Schlupp doesn't start in midfield. And if it isn't this game, then God knows when, because it has to happen sooner rather than later. It's just not working. And the midfield is one of the most important areas in Vieira's system. It has to take. If the midfield doesn't take, then the style just doesn't work.
And the thing about it, man, is which wouldn't make sense to me is if he was put back in there with two other midfield options now available in Maka and Kouyaté, that's just disheartening, man. Like, okay, here's what I think could also happen, because being that Hughes might be dealing with a knock, and maybe he's not 100% coming for Saturday.
You look all right today, though, in the videos.
But what if he went with Kouyaté, Maka, and Schlupp and played Schlupp in the Gallagher role?
Oh,
maybe
that wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, I think he could do that better than when he starts next to Gallagher. But I still don't think he would do it as well as Eze would. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Let's go through some comments. Erin says, don't be surprised. I've seen Palace do things like that my whole life and then lose the next week to Burnley. Anton says, Eze, Kouyaté, and Hughes. Phantom says, Eze, Maka, and Kouyaté. Callum says, definitely Kouyaté, EVA. People are saying Eze, but I just don't see Eze starting. Maybe he's surprised. No, maybe I don't know. I don't know if he's not ready. I don't know what it is.
I don't think Vieira's going to think he's ready anyway.
I think Eze is for next season, in honesty, based on what's happened this season. I think he's going to be back next season. Exactly.
Yeah.
We got Phantom saying Eze looked good in the middle against Norwich. I like that sub. We've seen Eze play through the middle against Norwich, but I don't know if he looked good because he didn't have that many touches, but I like the potential. I like the potential that we saw from him. Phantom says Schlupp and Eze needs to swap where they are playing. Erin says Kouyaté and MacArthur, put Eze in the middle of them, let him roam free forward with the striker and wingers with the two other holding. And Nick says move Mitchell to. I don't know if I should
right back.
Wait a minute.
Whoa, what are we doing? I think it's the effects of Saturday night drinks.
That's the Jaeger.
That's the Jaeger talking.
Jaeger.
That's the Jaeger talking.
Either that or his computer's been hacked because that's not.
Wait a minute. Jaeger plus
Richard right back.
Jaeger plus 50 plus years old equals Alzheimer's. That
I don't know what it is.
Mitchell
Mitchell at right back. That is. I've never heard. That's the first time I've heard
right back. He's
when
fine.
he's been working well at left back. Yeah, I don't know. But Schlupp to left back. Kouyaté, Hughes, Eze in midfield. Zaha, Elise, and Mateta up front. He says, "I don't want Eze to start because he." C says, "I don't want Eze to start because he might pick up another injury." Look at Nathan Ferguson; he was rushing to come back on the pitch. Good point. You don't want to rush him back, but then again, he's
come back though.
But then we haven't been rushing him. To be fair,
yeah, he got hurt before Eze did. That wasn't a rush.
Exactly. Yeah,
his and anything but rush,
and it wasn't the Achilles. It was his hamstring. So like, I don't think that those two aren't. They're independent of one another.
Mukhtar says who's Kouyaté and Maka, and he says Kelly can play right back. Kelly should not play right back. He can play right back, but he shouldn't play there. I'd rather keep Wardy there. If someone's gonna play right back apart from Wardy, it's gonna be the final client for me. So now let's move on to the final bit. The score predictions. This is where it gets exciting. What are we expecting? We talked about potentially causing an upset. I've seen 3-0 in the chat before. But what do we think? Who's going to come out on top in this game? We're at home, which is a massive plus because being way better at home than away from home. So how do you guys see this going?
1-1.
1-1. Who's scoring? Did you say 1-1 with Sheeman? Did you just...
No, I said I'll take that.
I thought you said 1-1 which team?
No, I'm not that stupid.
Henry, what's your score prediction?
I don't even.
So easy.
I'm sort of scared to predict, but I don't know.
Just predict it. Just lay it out. Give the good vibes. Just lay out the good energy.
No, 2-1 Palace. 2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace. 2-1 Palace.
Let's go for it.
We'll go for a win.
We've got nothing to lose.
I'm going 2-2.
2-2.
I think
2 goals against Chelsea, mate. Yep. You're rolling back the years.
Yeah, one per half.
I think that we'll get 2 goals and we'll be up 2-1 for a majority of the game, and they're going to get one towards the end between the 85th and the 90th minute and tie it up.
Well, one thing I'll say is
I didn't hear that.
One thing I'm going to say is that we're going to be much better than what we saw in the first game of the season.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got absolutely destroyed in that game. So I'm going to go for you pick 2-1. So I'm going to go. Let's. You know what we like to do on the show. Let's have a bit of fun. 3-1 Palace. 3-1 Palace. That's what I'm going with. 3-1 Palace. Why not? 3-1 Palace. I think Wilf is going to score.
Yeah.
I can see Edwards somehow being on a score sheet, and Maka. Why not? He's back.
Really?
His first start of the season. Yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
He hasn't scored
Why not?
Since 2018 or something.
But if we're talking about a wild game, if we're talking about a wild result, then you can't just go and say Wilfried Zaha's going to score 2 goals. And let's include Maka there. 3-1 Palace with Maka on the score sheet. Why not? Let's read some of your score predictions. 3-2 to us, says Red. 2-1 to Chelsea, says Nick. Come on, Nick. You have to back us. You have to. Red says Wilf, Ayu, Kouyaté. Seek says I have a feeling that we're going to surprise everybody with a scoreline of 2-0. Clean sheet against Chelsea. Oh, that would be a surprise. Everyone. Nick says Schlupp to score after running left of the pitch with the ball from left back position. Phantom said this is going to show us how we progress on the Vieira.
Yep.
I don't agree with that. I don't. Oh, in a way, yeah. If you look at the first, even then, I don't agree with it.
I mean,
I don't
agree. I don't
It's a
agree. You
test
know
to
why?
see we're going to have to play really, really well to get anything from this game. So it's a
No,
trick.
But think about
You
it. If we get your 3-1 scoreline, is that not progress from
Yeah, it's
from
progress,
how
but if you
Lads.
remember the first game, we're gonna wrap it up, Stan. So I don't think you can I don't think you can say that we're gonna improve from this game. I don't think you can say that.
Okay.
I think you could
so-
say that how we do in this game is going to be sort of a reflection of how far we've come.
Yeah. You can say. I think the Chelsea game we played like 4-4-2. The whole difference is some Vieira was scared in that
Yeah.
game, so I don't
It
know.
was the first game.
He just
Yeah.
didn't have the players, mate.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's hard to judge that game to this game. Mukta says, interested to see how we do without Gallagher, and 1-1. One of Macca's long shots has to go in at some point, says Phantoms. And that's it for today. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be here next Tuesday discussing all the latest with Palace once again. Thank you to Henry, Stan, T, and everyone who's been in the comment section, and Nick as well for joining us. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.
Palace.